Hello, can you hear me? All of you are on mute, I think.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay. So, so we are into this journey of understanding businesses from the accounting lens. So we talked about how businesses reports their progress on quarterly, off yearly, and yearly basis with respect to three different kind of statements, balance sheet and income statement and cash flow statements. So let's just continue and do little bit deep dive into some of these statements. I want to take an example of one company and I want to show you what we are talking here. So first, let's look at income statement. Um, before we go further, any questions from anybody from any previous session or anything that you want to ask? Okay, so let's just continue. So if you remember, income statement is basically telling the income of income means revenue. If you remember the business model canvas that we talked, um, bottom of the business canvas, we have two. One is revenue, one is costs. So income statement basically giving us the overview of how much money does the company made for a given year. So that's a revenue. So how does the company or business makes money by selling the services, whatever the services the company is doing. So by selling the products or the services, they get a revenue. Okay, we call that as a revenue. So, but for that revenue, you need to subtract. So we use a little bit math today. So it's additions and subtractions, nothing more, nothing less. So we keep our mathematical skills today to additions and subtractions. So we have total revenues and then we are subtracting the expenses that we incurred for that revenue. Whatever the product that we are making, we need a raw material. For example, if it is a pizzerian shop, in order for the revenues are the number of pizzas that they sold. If they sold, let's say per year they sold 3,000 pizzas, and each pizza costs 100 kron. So that's 30,000. 3,000 times 100, it's around yeah, 30,000. Yeah, 30,000. No, 300,000. 300,000 revenue, and then they have expenses, right? So they need to pay for the employees, and they also need to pay for the raw material that they required to do the pizza. So then when you subtract that operating expenses from the revenue, you get operating income. Okay. And then from this operating income, you subtract the borrowing. Suppose if you borrowed money from the bank, or you borrowed money from somebody else as a company, you need to pay the interest. So this borrowed money is not for free. You have to pay them some kind of interest. So that's your expenses associated with borrowing and other financing activities. So you need to subtract that. It's called financial expenses. It's like any individual, right? If you borrowed money from bank for buying your house and you are living in that house, you need to pay interest to the bank. It's not free, right? So same way for businesses, when they borrow money for the business operations, and then the borrower expects interest or the interest amount from the lender or from the businesses. So that's called financial expenses. So from revenues, we subtract the operating expenses, then we get the operating income. From operating income, we subtract the financial expenses because we have to pay the interest to the banks or who from whomever we lend. Then then we need to subtract the taxes. Governments always have some kind of mm, uh, money revenue, or we have to pay. Even businesses have to pay taxes. Individuals, we pay the taxes, as well as businesses also need to pay taxes. So from the operating income, if we subtract the financial expenses minus taxes, then we get the net income. So this is the net income that we are getting from the uh, operations. Okay. So let's look at a company, and let me show you the real example. If you remember, I told you for Indian companies, you can use a screener. So I'm going to screener. Maybe I can increase this. And I'm searching for a company called CCL Products. It's a, if you look at, you have a link here, you can go to this website and see what is this company. It's basically coffee manufacturing company. So what does it do is it takes the coffee beans, it gets the coffee beans from India or across the world, it imports the coffee beans, it crushes the coffee bean and makes the coffee powder and sell it to the customers like Walmart or Amazon or all the big retailers across the world. They sell this across the world, and they have plants in India. They have it in Andhra, and they also have it in Vietnam. So this is a company we are looking at. Okay, this is the CCL products or Continental Coffee. And by the way, this coffee is really great. If you want to try, you can try it when you are in India. I don't think you can find it here in Denmark. Okay, so now I want to know about this company. Every time when you want to learn about the company, you go to their website and try to search for investor relations. So if you go there, and then you have a corporate presentation here. So this is the, if you open the presentation, you would get the feel of what is the company doing, where they are across the world, right? So these are the different plans. But I'm not interested in the business model right now. So when you are doing the business model canvas, this is what you would be looking for. But now what we are doing is looking at the numbers. I want to see whether this business, how much revenue this business or how much profit this business is making, right? So I want to go to screener again. So I searched with CCL products here. So then if you go down, if you remember, I told you some people also call profit loss statement. So income statements also called as a profit loss statement. So it's one and the same, profit loss statements equal to income statement. So don't get confused, they use multiple terms for the same thing. Okay. So what are we looking at here? So we are looking at profit loss statements of the company called CCL Products. Okay, it's a coffee manufacturing company. So they take the input as a coffee beans. They roast the coffee beans and convert them into coffee powder and sells that to the customers like Walmart. And in Europe also they are selling it to Lidl, Aldi, but they don't sell it with their own brand. They sell it with the customer own brand. So Walmart may have their own brand of the coffee, etc. So if you look at the profit loss statements, here you see the sales. Okay. So this is the sales that the company has been doing. If you see here in 2009, they made 466 crores. That's equal to 466 million Danish krone. 1 crore equal to 1 million, right? So, so So this is the sales. So let's look at one specific year so you get the understanding. So let's only focus on 1 year, 2020. Okay. So for the 2020, they made a sales of 100 and sorry 1139 million, and then they have expenses of 853. So let's see what is the expenses. So out of this 853, 49% of it went for the material costs. What would be the material cost for the coffee manufacturing company? The material cost is the coffee beans. So they have to buy the or procure. If you remember the business model, the leftmost we have a partners. You know, the partners who supplies the raw
Which is
material for the business. So they must be procuring the beans from Brazil and other countries where they can procure the beans, maybe from India, coffee beans, right? So that's the raw material cost. So they spent 49% of their expenses for the raw material, and then they need to manufacture it, right? So they need to roast the coffee beans and crush them and add some flavors based on the customer needs. So that's a manufacturing cost. So the manufacturing cost is 13.38% of the overall expenses. So they made a revenue of
actually
1130. Yeah.
What's the
Colombia
name
has
of the
15.
what's the
Colombia
name?
has 15% of the world's coffee. So
Ye-
I think it's some Colombian companies supply
What's yeah, but what's the company's name again?
CCL products.
CCL Products.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it an Indian company or is it international?
It's an Indian company, but it supplies to international customers across the world. They have customers around 40, 50
But
plus countries.
on the screener app, it's when I search CCL, it shows Products India Ltd or International Ltd. Which one should I press?
Oh, okay. So if you go to here,
Yeah,
yeah. So CCL, you have to
yeah.
search for the first one, CCL
Okay,
Products India Limited.
okay.
And to know, the focus right now is understanding the numbers, not who is producing the coffee beans. That's totally different discussion. You know, I know Colombia produces the coffee, all the Southern American countries produces, but right now our focus is understanding the numbers behind this company called CCL, and we are trying to digest the numbers. So let's focus on the numbers. You are right. Colombia also produces, not just Brazil. There are many other countries who produces the coffee. Um, so we have a revenue of 1139, and then we have expenses of 853. Okay, and within that expenses, material cost is 49%, manufacturing cost is 13%, employee cost. So they need to pay for the employees, the salaries, right? So that is 6.26%. So these percentages are against this 853 million. So this is for 1 year. Remember this, all the statements we see, the progress reports that we see for a company, income statement, balance sheet or cash flow, it's for 1 year. Okay. And this 49% is against 853. So this is the overall expenses. Within that expenses, we are trying to understand what are the different expenses that the company has incurred for a given year 2020. So that's, and they also have other costs. You know, other costs could be, you know, power and something. We could get it from the annual report. If you want to understand what is this other cost, they must have described it in the annual report. We could
What
easily.
what about the advertisements?
Yeah, advertisements should be under maybe other costs. That
Okay.
that's a good question. So we should look at the annual report. So let me see here in this annual report. You should able to find it in detail if you want to know how much money they are spending for advertisement. Okay, then they have operating profit. So basically, operating profit, if you remember here, revenues. Let me zoom out.
Doesn't Continental Coffee, doesn't it also like sponsor programs, like Indian programs and stuff? Because I see that it does. Does it get money from that, or is it opposite?
Yeah, Continental Coffee CCL products. So far, their business model was
I've seen it.
they were providing the coffee coffee powder to the different customers across the world, and then the customers like Walmart or Aldi or Lidl, they are putting their own label when you go to the shop, when you see the coffee bags, 1 liter, 1 kg packages, they have their own brands. So what Continental Coffee has been doing since last 3 years is they realized they have a very good product. Why can't we sell with our own brand? So in India, they are started selling it with their own brand. You see quite a lot of advertisements, even on the buses. When you are in India, you see the advertisement, or you also see it in TV programs, because they want to sell their own coffee brand. And who is the big coffee producer seller in India? It's a Nescafe. You know, it's a
Yeah.
Nestle.
Yeah,
Is it,
yeah.
isn't it a U.S. company or something?
It's
No,
also
it's
maybe.
a
Name?
No, Nescafe is also used in other countries. But yeah,
Mm.
not as
But
much as India.
what's its origin? Where was it invented? Like,
it's Nestle. You know the Nestle, right? Swiss
yeah, I
company.
do.
Yeah.
So
Oh, it's this. Okay. And
so
is the CCL the coffee company Indian or
yeah, it's an Indian. It's based out of Andhra Pradesh near
okay?
Guntur.
And now they want to make their own product and sell it to everyone because
Yes. In India, they are making their own branded product. You could see the products here. If you go to their website, and if you go to the products,
Ferrero owns Nesta.
so our brands. So these are all the brands they are selling in India. Malgudi is one brand. So basically, they want to sell this to the customers directly. Before they were selling it to the supermarkets, but now they want to. Can you think of why they want to do this? Why I want to sell it to the customer instead of selling it to the supermarkets?
if they give it to the supermarket's gonna put their own name on it, aren't they?
No,
Exactly.
they're gonna put a lower price.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Exactly.
it's
price.
a lower price.
Then
Because they need
they
to
won't buy it. Then they won't get it for higher. And if they don't send it to supermarkets, but then they put their own price, then the customers don't have anything to compare with.
Exactly. That's what management realized recently, that hey, I'm been selling to the supermarkets. They are making good money. My product is been selling quite a lot, but I don't have my own branding. Hence, I can't charge more to the customers. So supermarkets are making profit, and CCL is not making profit. It's a supermarket who is getting the gain. So hence they thought, okay, why can't I, push this to customer directly, so that I get the all the profits from the customer to the business instead of, supermarkets.
I
So
I have a question.
mhm,
It's CCL, right? But
mhm.
why is it only Continental Coffee? What does the L stand for?
It's limited.
Oh,
It's all the in Denmark, you see these companies with the AS, right? Any company you
yeah.
see A/S. Similarly, legally, entities, businesses in India, they mostly called private limited companies or limited companies. So
Okay.
there is a little bit history why companies are being called limited. It's because it's only the company. So if company borrows the money, It's a company, a company's liability, not the founder's liability. For example, I started a CCL, and I assume I have my own net worth of, let's say, 10 million. My family net worth is 10 million, and I borrowed 20 million, and I am the owner of the CCL. So when the CCL goes bankrupt, the borrowers would not come after me, my assets, because it's a limited company, limited liability company. So limited liability companies stands for its company own liabilities. It's not anyway linked to the founders founder assets. So if the company goes bankrupt, it's company. It's nothing to do with the founder of the company. So this is also one of the great invention in 16th century. Before 16th century, if anybody started the company, if the company went bankrupt, the founders were liable. They were being pulled into courts and they have to pay, they sell their assets, their properties, and then they have to pay for the company's dues. But after 16th century, they came up with this limited liability concept in the corporate world or in the business world. That means it's a whole and sole company's responsibility. And if the company bankrupts, it's companies who will be dying, not the individual. Suppose if you are the shareholder of Continental Coffee, you bought 10 shares. If Continental Coffee could not make the debt obligation, whatever the money they borrowed from the banks, you would not be liable to pay that borrowed money, because it's company borrowed the money. Though you are the shareholders, it's a company who went bankrupt, so you don't need. So that's one of the great invention, and that's the reason you see many of the companies in India, they call limited company, LTD is limited, or private limited companies. Okay. So what are we understanding from the profit loss statements? We are understanding they sold 1139 million worth of goods for a year 2020, and out of that they had expenses of 853 million. And then the operating profit, after you subtract, if you subtract 1139 minus 853, you will get 286. So that's their operating profit. So the operating profit margin is 286 divided by the overall revenue they made, right? So it's around 25%. Do you follow me?
This is in billion, right? No.
No, this is in million. In Danish krone, I'm saying it in million. In Indian, it's crores.
Ah, okay. But no, I thought that it was Indian billions. So that's like 1,000 million.
It's just
Basically, it's
Yeah, that's
basically
correct.
1 billion.
it's
Yeah,
$1 billion.
1 billion Danish
close.
krone.
Okay.
1.1 billion.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So if you look at the net operating profit they made, so if you do 286 divided by 1139, you would get 25%. So that's a 25% operating profit the company is making. So this is one very important data point for us to understand, okay, how much operating profit the company is making. So 25% is what it is making. After in that operating profit, they have some other income. So they have income, say maybe they have a money in the balance sheet, they put it in the fixed deposit, they are getting 4 million as the other income, and they're also getting interest from some other sources. And then they have depreciation that they have to subtract. I'll talk about depreciation later. Don't worry about now. So overall, the profit they made is 225. So they subtracted this other amounts. If you remember here, so operating income, after you need to subtract the financial expenses, right? So we have revenue subtract minus operating expenses, we got operating income. Then we need to subtract the financial expenses. That's the interest they have to pay. So these guys must have borrowed some money from the bank. So that borrowed money, they have to pay the interest on it. So they are been paying interest of 18 million per annum, and they have depreciation that we need to subtract. So we got 225 profit before tax. So then if you remember here, we have to subtract taxes because government always wants to own some revenue from any business or individual. So government is getting 26% tax on this 225 million that they made. So after paying the tax, they have net profit of 166.
Yeah, Hari, here the taxes are varying every year, 20, 22, 33%. Like,
Yeah,
you see,
exactly. So the taxes is been varying because CCL products have some tax benefit from the government, local government or central government, depends on where they are located. So they have this SEZ concept in India. So sometimes Indian government gives them the tax exemptions. So
yeah, okay.
so this could be and another thing is recently in India, corporate tax has been reduced by some percentages. I don't remember the exact percentage, but the government also reduced the tax percentage for the corporate. So it came down to 25-26% recently. Before it was 33, yeah, 33%, 36%.
Okay, okay, got it.
So in
Why is
yeah,
every month now the transfer, like the money transfer from like Danish krone to one Danish krone used to be a 10 for 50 years, and then suddenly now it's 12.
yeah, that's a currency exchange. That's totally different topic to know. We need to talk about the countries' GDP and how countries, you remember the central governments, they do some things through which the specific country's currency is fluctuating. The value of the currency is
No,
fluctuating.
but
So
isn't that maybe because of stocks that it's changing so fast?
no, it's not stocks. Oh, you
Okay.
mean stock? No, it's not because of stock. It's because of the value of the rupee. Uh, it depends on any country's currency value is depends on their export and import. So if you are importing more goods than exporting, you are paying more money. And when you are, yeah, that's totally different topic. So that's and you are right. Indian rupee is depreciating comparing to Danish krone. It depreciated 20%. That's the reason you see 10 versus 12 rupees because it's depreciated by 20% in last 3 years. That's also a problem for Indian companies, right? Like this Continental Coffee, they export it to other countries. Oh no, it's actually advantage for this company because they are exporting to other countries. They get it in US dollars. So when they have to pay Indian rupees, the 20% benefit they are getting in terms of currency exchange. So they make money in foreign countries, but they have to pay it in Indian rupees. So they have some advantage with that. So then once you subtract the from the profit before tax 225, if you subtract the 26% of tax, then you get 166 net profit. Okay, and then EPS is earnings per share. So earning per share, you remember we talked about number of shares outstanding for a given company. So for this company, there must be, let me see. I'm trying to get the number of shares outstanding. Can anybody tell what is the number of shares outstanding? Oh, you forgot about you remember we talked about companies listing in the stock markets and then they share the tiny share value to the investors. You remember Dutch East India Company started this in 16th century and then they raised money and they sailed all the ships across the world. So similarly, Continental Coffee, CCL products also raised money from the public, and the number of shares that are outstanding is 13 million, 13 million point 30 shares. And then we need to divide we need to divide the total profit they made. Um, we need to spread that profit 166 million they made to the 13 million shareholders of the company. So you get the earnings per share. So this is the earning a individual. If you own one share of CCL products, you get 12 rupees. That's 1.2 Danish krone as a um, earning out of this 166 million that they made. So this is the profit loss statements that you could analyze of any business to understand um, understand whether this company is doing any making any money or is it uh, how much operating profit they have, how much taxes they are paying. One of the measurement is are these guys paying enough tax? If they are not paying enough tax, they may be cheating, right? Against government, you can't cheat against government, you would be caught one or other time. So we would not go into the companies where we see that the companies are not paying enough tax to the government, maybe they are cheating. So things like that, you need to get a sense from the profit and loss statements.
So here, how much percentage we like per share we increase in the year in this year uh, for each?
What do you mean? You mean earnings per share?
Yeah, earnings per share we got 12 rupees. So what is the percentage of? So now 12 rupees per one share we got for this
Yeah,
year.
yeah.
So, so how much percentage of it's increased? Uh,
Or you mean market value or the?
Suppose 100 rupees per one share I have, so now it is increased 12, so that means 12% I increased for this year for one share. So something.
Yeah, the market pricing is totally different game. Market pricing is defined by the people who are in the markets are like based on the mood. So people decides the share value. So we can't assume the same percentage wise the market value would also go up.
Mhm.
So we need to, but we can do one things. As you see here, in 2019 they had earnings per share 11.64. So that means their earnings has been increasing over the years. That's a good sign. If you see in 2009, maybe I should.
Yes, yeah.
2009 they have 1 rupee 28 earnings per share. Now they have 12 rupees. So in 10 years it been increased by almost 10, 10 times, right? Anything increases by 10 times in 10 years. If you remember rule 2072, it telling me that it's 24%. So they are been increasing the earnings per share every year 24% for last 10 years.
Mhm. Yeah, I think this is good.
Yeah.
Can you please explain earnings per share again? I don't
Yeah.
think I caught it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Sure. Let me. So for this company, Continental Coffee, for this CCL products, they have outstanding shares. That's 13.30 million shares. So these are the number of shares available in the market, and these are the number of shares 13.30. So what we can do is, we can, if you they got how much, maybe I can give you a simple example. So for example, we are in a business of pizza selling, and we got a profit of 100 crore, just a hypothetical in simple terms, and we are five shareholders. Okay, five of us own this pizza Aryan shop, and we got 100 crore as a profit. How much is the profit per share, per person, if it is five people owning this pizza shop?
20% per person.
20.
20.
20 crore. Exactly.
20%.
So we have five people who are owning the pizza shop. So it's a five shares. Okay. It could be one person owning all five shares, or one person owning two shares, but it's end of the day, how many shares it's been splitted into. So we have five shares. So the total profit, you have to split it, divide it by the number of shares outstanding. So here they made a profit of 166 million per this year. And how many shares they have outstanding? They have 13.30 million. So if you divide 166 divided by 13.30, you get 12.47. That's the profit per share.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Does it make sense? I can also do simple calculation here to show you. So I'm using Excel here. Now I can do, so 166, right? So 166 divided by, you see here, 12.48. That's almost, yeah, one decimal wrong, but it's equal. So what I did here in this formula, I took the 166 million profit divided by the outstanding shares, 13.3 million. So both are in million. Million cancels out, and then we get the 12.48. So for each share, it's a 12.48 rupees. Suppose if I own 100 shares of this, so I'm the owner of 100 shares, and every share I got 12.48. So you multiply with, so you get 1247. So it depends on how many shares individual owns. So then it's easy mechanism to give the EPS, earnings per share. Then people, whoever is, some people who own one share, some people who own 1 million shares, some people who own 1 billion shares. So they just multiply it with the number of shares that they are owning.
How do you get a share?
How do you get how many shares the company outstanding?
Yeah.
Yeah. So in case of screener, you have this feature called export to Excel. That's what I did. When I export it to Excel, I get this number of shares. It's they have one something called data sheet when you export, and the number of shares is giving me the number of outstanding shares. And remember, it may not be the same for other companies. So let me take another company. What are the big companies? Maybe you know HDFC Bank, right? So
Yeah.
I'm searching with HDFC Bank now, and I will show you the similar number. So HDFC Bank made 49 rupees per share. Okay, it's the same logic. They have revenue, but banks are different. But overall, the profit loss statement, same logic. They have revenue. They don't have any raw material, right? The banks don't manufacture anything. So the raw material is the interest, because they borrow money for lending money. So, but anyway, so I'm exporting to Excel now. I got HDFC Bank sheet. So let me, So this is HDFC Bank. You can see the name of the file on the top. This is HDFC Bank. So if you go to the data sheet, oh, see 551 million shares. So that's totally different than CCL product. CCL products have only 13.30 million, whereas HDFC Bank have 551 million shares outstanding. So it depends on the number of shares. Why do you think the companies have, for example, CCL have only 13.3 million, and whereas HDFC Bank have more shares? Why do you think is the case? Why don't all the companies have same 100 shares or 1 million shares or 1 billion shares? Why some companies have 13 million, some companies have 551 or some other outstanding shares? It's based on the face value. So you see here the face value. This is the important number. The face value of this HDFC is 1, whereas CCL products, the face value is 2. That's also it's like this, you went to a pizza shop, bought a pizza, and you you and your close friend, you thought having a small celebration. You went and bought one pizza based on the money you have, and all of a sudden your classmate showed up in that pizzerian shop, and then there are 5 of them. Instead of you sharing half of the pizza, now how much you have to share? So 7 pieces. You understand how you are cutting your pizza depends on the number of shareholders. So the pile of the pizza, before you thought of sharing between 2 people, you would have got 50-50%. But because 5 of your friends showed up, now the total pizza need to be split into 7 pieces. 2 plus 5, 7 pieces. The percentage of the pizza, piece of the pizza, or the size of the pizza piece that you get is quite less than the off percentage, right? That's the face value. Do you follow me? So it's it's a kind of how much some companies have face value of 10. So 10 is the maximum. From the 10 some companies have face value of 5, some companies have face value of 2, some companies have face value of 1. So that's the how many pieces that they are cutting in the pizza to come up with the um, face value or the actual size of the piece that you are owning in the business. Okay. So let's go back to our discussion. So this is, as you see here, this is the income statement or profit loss statements. That's how it's been calculated. So, and then we have net income to the shareholders. That's a EPS we talked about, earnings per share. So this is the net income the shareholders are getting. So this is how the income statement is telling us. But what is the income statement is telling more than this numbers is you need to understand you need to look at the different businesses and try to understand, is it a good business or not? So let's look at other business. Okay. Any other manufacturing business that you know in India? Should we take Tata Motors? You know Tata Motors?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's take a Tata Motors because it's a good comparison. CCL also doing the manufacturing, not real comparison, but at least we can do. So in case of Tata Motors, look at the operating profit margin, how much it is? 7%. Okay. Whereas CCL, how much we had?
25%.
Do you see the difference? This is how you should see whether this is a good company or bad company, right? So let me compare Tata Motors with Maruti Suzuki. You may know Maruti Suzuki. So because they are into same. So now we are comparing Tata Motors versus Maruti Suzuki. They are in the same domain, right? They manufacture the cars and sell it to the customers. Okay. So what we found from the profit loss statement for Tata Motors, they are
Is
making
Suzuki
operating. Yeah. Sorry, somebody has a question.
Is
Okay.
Suzuki Indian?
Yeah, Maruti Suzuki is Indian. Suzuki is Japanese, but Maruti Suzuki is an Indian.
What's the difference?
So Maruti, Indian company, collaborated with Suzuki India for the technology since 1960s. And in return, Suzuki shared the technology with Maruti and they got 50% of stake. So Suzuki Japan owns the 50% of Maruti Suzuki company. And hence you see the name Maruti Suzuki. So olden days, when the companies did not had a intellectual property or the technology, what they used to do is they used to collaborate with the companies who already have the intellectual property or the technology. So Maruti tried with their own engines. Initially, they failed, and then they realized it's better to partner with another best world-known company, and they went and had a collaboration with Suzuki, and Suzuki provided the technology, the engines, the whole mechanism of manufacturing car. Maruti provided the labor and the manufacturing facilities in India, and also the market, it can sell to all the Indians in India. So that's the reason it's Maruti Suzuki. Okay, let's go back here. Now I'm going to profit loss statements. This is the profit loss statement of Maruti Suzuki. Okay. And how much operating profit I have here? 10%. Whereas Tata Motors, how much it have? 7%. Okay. So what does it telling me? It telling me Maruti Suzuki have a better operating profit comparing to Tata Motors. Do you follow me? Because uh, Tata Motors have only 7% operating profit margin, whereas Maruti Suzuki has 10%. That's 3% more. Okay. And then if you see interest amount, the net profit, how much net profit Maruti Suzuki has? It's 5.6 billion Danish krone. It's 5,676 million Danish krone. So it's 5.6 billion Danish krone. Whereas Tata Motors, how much they have? Oh, look at here. They have losses, not even profit. So what does it telling you? If you look at these two companies and when you look at from the accounting lens of profit loss statement, it's a clear case of Tata Motors and Maruti Suzuki. What is it telling you?
Maruti Suzuki is better than Tata Motors.
Yeah, more.
Why?
Because
Because
it
that
made profits
has
and this had
a lot more
liabilities.
Tata has
It has
liabilities.
losses.
It has losses, and then Maruti has profits.
Exactly. They are putting money from their pocket, so they even not making profit. So if you are a individual person, you would close this business, right? So they may have a different. Uh, th- it's only 1 year. You should not conclude a company, whether it's good or bad, just looking at 1 year. You need to look at the last 10, 15 years. But at least last 2 years, they were been losing money. If you see here, they did not made a profit even in 2019. So it's minus 28,000, minus 12,000. Whereas Maruti Suzuki, they made 7 billion in 19, 5.6 billion. I can tell you little story between these two companies, why the Tata Motors in big trouble comparing. So this is the angle. You should understand the business model and look at the history of 15, 20 years of a company before you can decide whether you should buy into this company. So the Tata Motors, they went and acquired foreign companies. Land Rover is acquired by Tata Motors. You know the Land Rover car,
Yeah.
and you also know this. What is that company?
Jaguar.
Yeah, Jaguar. Sorry. Yes, Jaguar. They also acquired Jaguar. And when they acquired these companies, they are UK based, foreign based companies, and they acquired with a foreign currency. Imagine you are a Indian company, you make money in the INR, Indian rupees, but you are acquiring company in pounds and dollars. What would happen to you? As Trono was telling some time ago, the Indian rupee depreciated by 20%. What would happen to you if you acquired companies in the foreign countries with a foreign currency when you are making money in Indian rupees? You have to pay more Indian rupees because the value of the Indian rupee fall down because you have to pay the borrowers in pounds and dollars. You have to pay more money, right?
I have a question.
Hmm.
If a company owns some other companies, like Tata owns 30 other companies, then if that company gets profit, then does Tata get to keep some of it? Or does Tata get to keep all of the profit of the other company?
Or you mean you are talking within the Tata Motors or you are talking overall Tata Group?
Like the Tata Group bought Jaguar, Land Rover, other ones, right?
No, no, Tata Motors brought Jaguar and Land Rover, not Tata Group. Tata Group is totally different. Tata Group has.
He's
Tat-
asking if Land Rover basically gets a profit, will Tata get half of it or something?
Yeah,
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 that's
yeah.
what. Yeah, that's what I'm.
I'm the owner of Jaguar and Land Rover, so I would definitely get the full profits. But the problem is Jaguar was not making great profit. You remember in Denmark they closed all the Jaguar showrooms that I know because they
But
are
I've
doing.
seen a lot of Jaguars in Denmark before.
Yeah, but they were been closing recently. A lot of showrooms. The reason
Oh,
being is Tata Motors decided that they want to cut down the cost for Jaguar and Land Rover companies because they are not making profit.
okay.
But anyway, this is how you, and this is a mistake, or they did the Tata Motors, and they are paying the penalty for the mistake they made. But in general, when
What
you want,
mistake did they do?
they went and they went and acquired the companies in foreign countries with a foreign exchange, foreign money.
So that is that the reason why they're? Oh yeah, that's the reason because that for. Oh, that's the reason that in rupees it's growing.
Exactly.
They need to pay
So when
more.
they
So
exchange it back into rupees, then they get much less.
Exactly. So they though they make great profits, their rupee is depreciating and they have to pay more money to the borrowers. So they did not acquire from their own money. They borrowed money from banks for their acquisitions. That's, you can look at their debt to equity here. So debt to equity is, see, they have debt to equity of 2.28 for every one DKK, they have 2.28 DKK debt. So that's a lot of debt. Look at Maruti Suzuki, how much debt they have. If you see here, debt to equity is 0. Wow, they don't have any.
wow.
So that's a beauty, right? When you look at the businesses, this is the beauty. When you look at a company without any,
Hi, uncle.
yeah,
Why doesn't Hindustan Motors have nothing? Nothing.
sorry.
Why doesn't Hindustan Motors have like the debt to equity?
Yeah, this company is closed, I guess. It's not in operations.
Okay.
Yeah, they as you see, I think they used to manufacture, yeah, you see, manufacturing sales of spare parts. So they are not in a business now. And that it's very small company. It's a 6 crores company, 6 million company. So not 6 crores. It's Yeah, 150 crores, 140 million. Whereas look at the Maruti Suzuki, it's 206 billion Danish krone. Do you got the feel of the companies when you look at the profit loss statement? We will do similarly for balance sheet, but you should get a feel. You do similar exercise. Go to screener, look at the companies that you know, and do some comparison. If it is, we can do the similar comparison. You know the Bajaj Auto, right? A two-wheeler company. Okay,
Yeah.
let's look at Bajaj Auto versus any other two-wheeler company.
Yamaha.
Hero Motor. Hero.
Isn't there a motorbike?
Yes.
Motorcycles.
And we have another company called
Honda.
Honda.
Hero. No, there is another company. You have
It
yeah.
starts with a T, right?
Sorry.
Does it start with a T?
So we have a Hero, and we have a Bajaj Auto. Yeah, Eicher Motors. You know Royal Enfield.
Yeah.
So that's from the Eicher Motors. That's this company. So now we are comparing three companies, two-wheeler companies: Bajaj Auto, Hero Motor Corp, and Eicher Motors. Bajaj Auto, you probably saw Pulsar bikes. They are quite famous, and
Yeah.
Chetak scooters. You know your grandfathers used to drive. That's from the Bajaj Auto. Hero Honda, you probably remember. It's Hero Honda Splendor is the most famous brand of Hero Honda, but they are quite big in two-wheeler market. And Eicher Motors, you know this Royal Enfield. You
Yeah.
know the big bullets that you hear when you. So let's look at these three companies, right? So these are in the similar business. Let's look at their. Let me look at the debt to equity. So Bajaj Auto, they don't have any debt. That's good. 0.01 is almost nothing, right? Maruti Suzuki, sorry, not Maruti Suzuki. It's so it's a Hero Motor Corp. So Hero Motor Corp also don't have much debt. That's good. So they don't borrow much money. And let's look at.
Uncle, can you go back to Hero Motor Corp
Yeah.
first? Because it's the one you put was Eicher Motors. Eicher Motors. Eicher Motors is 0.02, and then Hero Motor Corp is 0.04.
You're right. 0.04. You're right. It's a Hero. Yeah, correct. So let me go to Eicher. Yeah, the other one I was looking is TVS Motors. It's a Chennai-based company, but doesn't matter. Let's compare only three for now. So even for Eicher Motors, it's so in general, these three companies are debt-free company. They don't borrowed any money. That's a good sign.
Isn't TVS Motors on a really high debt?
Oh yes, you're right. Yeah, that's not good. You're right. They have 2.78 debt. Wow, that's not good. Yeah. So you could already compare four companies and you already found one company which has a lot of debt. Okay. So let's go to P&L statement of this company. So now I am in Bajaj Auto. And in Bajaj Auto, the operating profit they are making, this is quarterly. So remember, don't look at quarterly, look at the annually. So this is profit loss statement. And they made operating profit of OPM is 17%. Look at Hero, 12%. It's telling me something. So Bajaj Auto is better than Hero Motor Car because Bajaj Auto is making 17%, whereas Hero Motor Corp is, yeah, exactly. So now go back to Eicher Motors.
19.
Oh, 19. That's better than Bajaj Auto, right?
Yeah. What about TVS?
Yeah.
12. That's not It's Hero versus
Is-
TVS. It's same, but TVS is in worse situation because you see interest amount they are paying 221 million or 221
But isn't
221.
that quarterly results?
Oh, sorry, this is quarterly. So, oh wow, they are paying 904 million interest amount because they borrowed lot of money, so they are paying lot of interest. If you borrow a lot of money, you have to pay the interest, right? So that's what they are paying here. Whereas Acer Motors, if you see the interest amount, it's negligible. It's only 18 crores because they borrowed a very little amount. If you look at Hero Motors, they are paying only, yeah,
Crores.
yeah, 44. And Bajaj Auto, they are paying only 6
Six?
crores.
Oh. Wait. Isn't it? What does OPM mean?
Operating profit margin. So sales minus expenses, they get the operating profit. Then you divide the operating profit overall sales. So 5,096 divided by 29,919, you get 17%.
Okay.
So if I sell 100 crore worth of sales, I'm making 17 crore as a profit, operating profit margin.
Okay.
And now look at the net profit. So Bajaj Auto made a net profit of 5.2 billion. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Hero Corp, sorry, Hero Corp made a net profit of 2.6. Sorry, 3.6. 2020, right? We are looking to 3.6. So it's
Higher. Oh no, lower than.
lower. Yeah.
Lower.
If you look at the Asian Motors, they made a net profit
That's
of,
really low.
yeah, exactly, 1827. And the TVS Motors, yeah.
Hmm.
That's
Even
See,
lower.
yeah, and the money, most of the money profit they made, they are paying it to banks. So I would be better off if I lend money to TVS rather than buying TVS Motors. You understand me? Because I
Yeah.
have to, banks are getting more money than the investor, me, if I'm buying TVS Motors because they borrowed a lot of money. You see, 855 crores, it's more than their net profit. It's not good. So banks are getting richer by TVS Motor, not the investors who bought the TVS Motors. Okay, does this make sense? Why we are studying about profit loss statements? Because we want to understand the businesses and understand whether the business is really good. And we really saw different businesses. We compared with Tata Motors with Maruti Suzuki, and we compared with Bajaj Auto, Hero, and Acer and TVS. And we already quickly, by just looking at profit and loss statements, we can tell whether it's a good or bad business, right? This is what
Yeah.
I mean when I say you need to understand the language of business in order to say whether it's a good or bad business. Without knowing accounting, you can't tell whether, you may say, oh, TVS is a great brand. I see a lot of ads in the TV. I see Dhoni is sponsoring the TVS company because he's a Chennai. I don't know. I don't follow cricket. Maybe he's Chennai IPL team lead. So I am big fan of Dhoni. Let me buy TVS. But that doesn't tell you anything if you don't look at their profits loss
Arjun,
statement. Yeah.
is Screener only for Indian companies?
Yeah, it's only for Indian companies. I will introduce you to other kind of tool for foreign companies.
Okay.
Okay, somebody has a question. Yeah.
Yeah, Hari, I have a question.
Yeah.
So this earning per share, is that mean is that all the shareholders getting a dividend, or how exactly that all the
Ah,
shareholders?
no, it's not dividend. It's just calculating how much money each shareholder earned for a given year. This money, company can pay it as a dividend, or company pay, as you see, it's only paid 27%. So out of this 13 rupees, they paid only 27% of the 13 rupees. So the remaining money probably went to the balance sheet as a reserves for the future expansion or future growth.
Oh, okay, got it. Yeah.
You could do the same for Acer Motors. Acer Motors paid 19% of the 66 rupees as a dividend. That's a dividend payout ratio. I will talk about this. Dividend payout ratio is basically the money the company is paying to the shareholders. The profit they made, for example, Hero Motors made 186 rupees as a profit for 2020. Out of 186, almost 49%, 50%, they paid it as a dividend. So you would get 182 means 90 rupees as a dividend income.
Okay. So generally that share price will going to increase based on the trading only. So in that
Yeah,
way.
exactly. This is nothing to do with it's people's emotions. People are in good mood, they increase. You remember, it's only 1% of shares that are traded at a given day. So 99% of shareholders are not doing any activity, but 1% people who are doing activity decides the share value.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah. Tanvi, you have a question?
Yeah. So I didn't really understand what face value means.
Yeah, it's a bit tricky subject. Let me take this in another session. Full focus only face value.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions from anybody? So this is the reason we are studying about accounting, and we are learning about income statement, profit loss statement, just to understand how the businesses are doing financially. That's the reason. If you remember, Warren Buffett, he said it's a language of businesses. Without knowledge of accounting, it's very difficult to become a investor or business owner. And as a self-employed or also as an employee, you should know accounting, basic accounting. That would help you to decide a lot of things. Okay, so that's where I want to conclude this week's session. We will continue next week, probably balance sheet. Okay, thank you and have a good weekend.
You too.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you for today.
Thanks for today. Bye.